So here's the home workout bench that I built. It's very heavy duty. The top piece, the top fabric piece here, I got a 1 yard of it from Joann's Fabric. I think it was $8. And the piece itself, the spool or whatever it comes from, was 50 inches long. So 1 yard was able to cover more than enough of the bench. I probably could have covered 2 benches if I need to, but I made a little pad for another home implement here, which is the hip thruster Nordic curl machine. So I just kind of made that little pad there. It was a really choppy job, but for the home bench, I tacked this down with staples underneath it. I also went to Walmart and got, it was a 4-pack of like bench pads or seat pads. They were 16 by 16 by 1 inch. It was $6 for those. And then also got one of those 60 by 50 fleece blankets. They're usually like $2 or $3 a piece, depending on when you get them. So I put down the foam pads. I cut them down to 12 inches here, left them at 16 length and 12 across. So 1 pad, 2 pads, 3 pads, and then I folded the blanket over top into like a 4-piece. I made sure that it was essentially draped from one side over top of the other, and then it was really easy to just stretch the fabric over top of the bench. I stapled down one side of this fabric all the way across the bench, and then I was able to put down the foam, put down the blanket over top, and then continue stapling across so that it would make things a lot easier. I mean, if you're somebody who works with fabric or works with making seats, probably have a better process than I do, but again, this is my first time doing this. So the base of the bench itself is actually a 1 by 12 piece, which actually ends up being not 1 by 12, but more along the lines of like 1 by 11 to 11 and a half. So then I used another 1 inch board over top of that I was able to cut to 12 full inches, because a competition bench, the width of the bench is 12 inches. So, and then it's also 48 inches in length. Then the baseboards underneath, there are two 2x4s cut to 45 inches. On the ends, there are two 10.5 inch pieces that are cut to length. And then the base, the floor pieces are 15 inches long. Those were essentially leftover pieces from different cuts. I could have cut those to 12 inches if I needed to. And then the center bracing board that would be 39 inches long, because essentially with the 2x4s on the end, that's 3 inches and 3 inches wide, 3 inches wide. So you have 6 inch difference. So that would equal 3 inches on this side, 3 inches on that side, plus the 39 inch piece is 45, which equals up to the length of the board. Again, trying to use some different pieces that were salvaged. These braces essentially were from an old bed frame that I used for the deadlift platform, so I had those left over. I just used those as a way to make sure that any forward and backward leaning or any sort of awkward angled pressure from whatever, like sliding back and forth on the bench, any sort of possibility to where the bench could lean or wiggle has been eliminated by adding those pieces. And that is the home workout bench. Again, sorry for not making a full-length tutorial, but generally you can get those boards cut at Home Depot. You don't really have to do it yourself. All you have to do is bring it home, piece it together, and you're going to use some wood glue. You could use some lag bolts. I would probably get 4 or 6 pack of lag bolts. I actually just used deck screws and used a drill bit to countersink them in. Again, that's something that if somebody worked construction, they might completely advise against that, but for me it worked, and the bench is holding up. I actually tried it out a little bit last night. I don't have a rack, but I was able to load up a barbell and brace it across these nice heavy duty sawhorses, which I most likely wouldn't do with a standard workout for obvious reasons. I mean, they say 800 pound capacity, but I don't really want to risk that with my head and neck being almost directly underneath those to where the barbell could fall. So, any questions? Brandon@liftingdad.com. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit subscribe. Also check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/liftingdad.